Hey everybody, Aaron Cowan, Sage Dynamics. This video we're going to talk about handgun manipulations while using a handheld light. Weapon-mounted lights are fantastic. They're really great. Most handguns, compact and full-size, are going to support them. However, if your lifestyle, your occupation calls for you to carry a subcompact or smaller, you may not have a light accessory rail to be able to put a weapon-mounted light on your gun, or you may just not, for whatever reason, like weapon-mounted lights based on lifestyle occupation. So handheld light is going to be your primary source of light in the event that you need to use your firearm in a use of force. Under that consideration, you have to start thinking about how am I going to either reload the firearm or fix any potential possible malfunctions on the firearm when I'm using a handheld light. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. What's the best way to maximize my efficiency when reloading or fixing malfunctions while having a handheld light in my hand? So first we're going to talk about some good advice when it comes to reloading the firearm. Now we do know from some anecdotal information that's out there that for citizens it is unlikely for you to work to slide lock in a self-defense shooting. For law enforcement it is a little bit more common depending on the context of the situation. However, it's still a good idea to be proficient with that skill. If I have a handheld light in my hand and I go to slide lock and I need to reload my gun, there's two ways that you see people tend to hold the flashlight. A lot of people tend to gravitate towards all four fingers on the body, their thumb on the tail cap, which is how we activate it. In a reload, what I want to do is I want to bring that flashlight into my thumb so I have four fingers to manipulate with instead of just a thumb. This gives me a lot more purchase power when I go to reload, when I go to purchase my my magazine from wherever I happen to carry it. So I can easily index that magazine and use almost a correct potential finger up on the front of the magazine technique to be able to reload the gun, and I still have the flashlight in my hand. And one thing, of course, worth mentioning that's pretty obvious is in this situation, I'm not being able to use the beam. I'm not being able to hold someone under beam control or anything like that. I'm just reloading the gun. But what I'm not doing is wasting time by sticking the flashlight in my mouth underneath my arm, trying to stick it in my pocket before I even begin my reload technique. Now, me personally, I carry a full-size spare regardless of the gun I'm carrying with a +5 or a +6. One of the reasons I do that is for more ammunition. Another reason I do that is because it gives me additional runway on the magazine body itself to help me manipulate reloads and malfunctions. So with the reloading technique, if I'm at slide lock and I need to reload the gun, I have the flashlight in my hand. Instead of trying to put it in my mouth, put it in my arm or anything like that, I can hit my magazine release, bring my gun into wherever my traditional reload position is. Nothing else changes. And I'm still able to purchase that magazine in almost a traditional method, get it into the gun, activate my slide release, get the gun back out there, use my neck index, my FBI, whatever handheld technique I happen to be using, and it's going to be faster and more efficient, like I said, than trying to stow the light anywhere on my person. When it comes to malfunctions on the handgun, we're probably familiar with the three most common types of malfunctions. You've got your failure to fire, stovepipes, and then you see what's known as, traditionally colloquially known as, a double feed on the handgun. Traditionally, it's taught that when malfunctions occur, you definitely have to stow that handheld light. In the same technique, managing my grip in this way by pinning the flashlight body with my thumb instead of using my fingers, I'm able to clear those common malfunction types just as easily as I would clear them if I didn't have the flashlight in my hand. Of course, all things in context. This is still going to present more of a challenge for your reloads or your malfunction clearances than not having the flashlight in your hand. If you have the ability to add a device to your flashlight, some kind of ring or hook that you can use to help retain the flashlight during those techniques so it frees up all 5 of your fingers, I don't think anybody's going to argue that that wouldn't be better. Of course that's going to be better, but it's not something we're necessarily going to have available to us. And this is a skill that we need to practice because it's part of the proficiency of the firearm. It's not the end of the world if you happen to have a flashlight in your hand and you run out of ammunition or you experience a malfunction, and you don't necessarily have to stow the flashlight. If you happen to have smaller hands, you don't have to worry about coming up with an alternate technique. Just pursue a light that has a slimmer body or a smaller overall footprint, and I think you'll find even with single stack magazines, you're still able to perform these techniques to proficiency. I'm Aaron Cowan with Sage Dynamics. Train accordingly.